Well, hello, Christy. It is very good to see you.
Good to see you, Todd. Always good to see you.
Well, I really appreciate you joining. Known you for quite some time here in Coppell, and you do all kinds of things to help out this community, and you also have a business, and that's really what we're here to talk about. So, Christy, for people that don't know who you are, I think there's 4 of us that may not know you, but for those that don't, what do you do? What's your business? And how are you doing?
You're very funny. There's definitely more than 4. Although I always say when you get in Coppell, it is kind of like 3 degrees of separation. So, you get 3 people together and then you can pretty much cover the town. So for those who don't know me though, I am Christi Greene. I have a real estate team here in town at Keller Williams. We are the Christi Greene team. You may have seen our signs out around town recently because we did do our shamrocking the week of St. Patrick's Day, so you may have seen some of our shamrocking signs around. And so, how am I doing? So, it's interesting. I'm in some ways probably doing about the same as everybody else in town, although I will say I'm maybe somewhat fortunate in that our business is classified as essential at this point in time, and so we are able to get out and about. We got to make sure that our closings do still happen, which has changed a little bit. Some of our closings are now virtual, much like our conversation today. Some people are still going in. Each title company is handling that a little bit differently. Our lenders are obviously essential in getting the loans closed, so they're still operating. Many of them are still virtual, and a lot of that loan stuff happens pretty virtually today anyway, aside from the signing of the paperwork. What has changed a lot, certainly, are our showings. We are still working. We're still listing houses. We are still out showing buyers. And it's just a little bit different. And this is where I would say the conversation kind of has to change a little bit, because I certainly wouldn't want to be in a position where I'm going to tell any of my clients how to feel during any of this. And so if they want to show their homes, then we're stepping in and taking some new protocols as to what does that look like. So I have gloves and booties, Clorox wipes and things in homes when they're going to go see homes. If I'm out with buyers, we're certainly taking all of those things with us as well. And for showings for sellers now, that looks a little bit different. So my instructions now for any buyer's agents who are going to go show any of my listings, I'm immediately sending you that 4 questionnaire CDC information, and we're going through those questions. Does anybody have symptoms? And so once we've kind of cleared that, then the new showing instructions of the day are all the lights in the house will be on. Please don't touch any light switches, even though you're going to have gloves on. And doors are going to be open. So we're going to open all the closet doors and things that you might need to go through or go into.
To try to keep people from touching doorknobs and doing all that kind of stuff.
Right. So a little bit different than what we've done in the past, because when you've looked at houses in the past, I'm sure you go in and everybody's used to opening the closet doors and just kind of looking through the house on your own. So those kinds of things are a little bit different, and some buyers don't want to go look at houses right now. And again, then they're not in a position to really buy at this point in time, because that's just not what they're comfortable with. And that's okay.
Let's talk about it a little bit. So are you seeing, I would only guess that there's a whole lot less showings that are happening. There's a lot less phone calls. I would assume that's what's happening. What's day-to-day kind of now during this crazy pandemic versus before? Is it off 50%? Does it feel like 90? Like what is it really?
So I should have pulled numbers before we had our conversation, because I was actually on another call at noon today with agents across the country, and they were giving some numbers about what showings were like, what listings were in terms of what was coming on. And so they were asking people, what do you think is coming on the market? And they were saying, maybe it's more like 30 new homes are coming on the market. So the numbers they pulled in that area were 300 new listings came on the market. So even what we think it would be is a little bit different than what it really is. So what we think it would be, it's actually higher than what we're guessing. So, and they were talking about the number of homes that are going under contract, and people were saying, well, maybe 70, and it was more like 700. So, and that's obviously in a large MLS, and I believe that was in the Princeton market. And we are a really large MLS in our area too, being here in Texas. So, I would suggest that our numbers are probably pretty significant in terms of what's still happening. I put a new listing on the market last week here in Coppell, and it was on Thursday. We had 2 showings Friday. We did a virtual open house on Saturday via Facebook Live. We had 2 showings on Sunday, 1 showing on Monday, and we have 1 scheduled for Friday. So even though we would expect showings to be down, that's still a lot of showings for a new listing in a week in this time, I think. So,
yeah, and I actually had no idea that realtor businesses were still, operating 100%. I didn't even realize that, so that's good to hear and good to know. Facebook Live for those virtual tours, is that new, or have you always been doing that?
That's pretty new. So we didn't really think that we wanted 30 different people coming through their house over the weekend. So we just decided that we would do a virtual open house so that I could walk through the house. And I'm sure it was a little faster than I should have done it to some degree, although, I tried not to run up the stairs or run down the stairs or any of those kinds of things. So, usually you'll see agents doing videos before an open house. We don't typically do a virtual open house via Facebook Live though. So had some attendance. We've had it out there, so I know it's getting views still. It's very, very new though. I mentioned the other call that I was on at noon today, and there was an agent in Michigan. They are completely shut down up there, so there are no showings happening there. And so they're getting really creative and trying to figure out how to get people, because people do still have to move. And so I know here in Dallas County, they have said, if you're moving, you can move. The movers can come, they can load your furniture, and you can still move. So they know that there are certain parts of life that still do have to happen even during our pandemic. So in Michigan, what they were doing is they got on a Zoom call, just like we're on now, the buyer and the buyer's agent and the seller and the seller's agent all on a Zoom call together. And the seller was walking them through the house. The buyer had some questions, and by the end of the night, they made an offer on this house without ever actually having stepped inside the house. So I think everybody's having to pivot a little bit to figure out, if you really still have to move, how do I find a house? So
yeah, definitely. I had a friend of mine text me, I think it was last night. Every day kind of feels like a month right now, but I think it was last night. And he said, hey, I just put my house on the market. And my very first thought was, no one's going to be able to see it. But obviously I'm wrong. So this is really, really interesting and good to know. I would probably say I've probably talked to maybe 10 different business owners now with this little format, and 100% of them obviously are using some type of video technology. But I would say of everybody doing it, I think 80%, that's anecdotal. I don't know if that's true. I'd say 8 out of 10 of them are like doing new things. Like I've never used Zoom, or I've never done Facebook Live. But what a blessing that we have this. And I think it's forcing businesses to get better at it, right?
Right. And forcing us to think outside the box more than we ever have. And in order to keep moving forward, because I think a lot of agents probably have essentially shut down. I know one of the things that we had a Zoom meeting, a sales meeting in our office today, and one of the things that our broker said is, when you're not on the phone talking to people and checking on them, it's a great time for you to be online learning, because as soon as we come out of this, we anticipate it could be kind of crazy, especially just because people want to get out. So yes, please, go look at houses. I gotta get out of this one, and I realize if I ever have to be quarantined again, I don't want to be in this one. I gotta go find another one.
I'll tell you what, Christy, that's really interesting, and I'm glad we had this conversation. I can't be the only person that thinks this way. Well, I might be, but it'll be good for other people to know this. So if anybody wanted to connect with you, reach out with you, have a conversation about their house, how would they get a hold of you?
Well, the easiest way to get a hold of me is to text me or call me at 214-906-2215. Or you can go online to our dfwhomeviewers.com and check out any homes, and we will be sure to stay in contact with you there as well.
All right, fantastic. Well, Christy, stay safe. It's awesome to see you on video, and wish you the best of luck, and hope to see you around town sooner rather than later.
Absolutely. Maybe we can at least do a drive-by wave, right?
Exactly. That's exactly right. All right, good luck. I will talk to you very soon.
Thanks, Todd. Always good to talk to you.